Welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's story is another fantastic installment of the incredible series by the wonderful mind of PostMortem33. As ever, please do let us know what you thought down below in the comments box. Please do like and share. It really does help build the channel and our community further. And why not hashtag Team Fear? And so, with that aside, let's get into tonight's story, entitled I'm a Freemason and I have some stories to tell you. The Church of Ghosts, Part 3. Let's get straight into that. Today's story will take us back to 2018, when we had our international meeting, which is taking place every 5 years. And by now, I was used to all the weird stuff going on inside of our temple, and of course, outside of it, where the secrets of the world lay dormant for the normal people, but not for us Freemasons. Our meeting 2 years ago took place in a very beautiful hotel in Prague, the Czech Republic, and this was one of those that are filled with history, and where the walls and chandeliers have seen extravagant parties taking place, and people in really expensive clothing attending and drinking the finest and rarest of drinks. I have met a lot of powerful Freemasons at the banquet, and people very well known in the world, and some of them running multi-million-dollar companies. I have learned of lots of things that they do research on, things I could not even imagine existed, and of course I was left in awe with the topics of certain discussions at that party. I was accompanied by my mentor, the professor, who decided in 2014, as you well know, to show me the wonders of the world. And too bad that we have different views on what that means. Usually, at banquets like these, nothing out of the ordinary really happens. It's mainly just a bunch of people in black suits talking about various scientific topics, improvements in certain industries and/or evolution of technology in the coming years. But at the end of the party, my mentor took me outside the hotel to have a talk. Son, let's go out for a bit, and there is something I need to tell you. Of course, Professor. Son, tomorrow at midnight, there is a place where we will go, and from our lodge, it is just the two of us and the master. And there will be some very powerful and influential people at this meeting. What is it this time, Professor? Vampires? Czech monsters? The dark god of Czech beer? What? You're very funny, he said, ironically. No, we will have this meeting in a church 200 kilometers from Prague, in the village of Lukova. And as I understood from one of our brothers that flew in from the United Kingdom, this church is a bit different from the rest of the churches in the country. Why? I do not know. I guess we will see tomorrow night what is going to happen. Okay, Professor. I understand, and I won't ask any more questions. Sometimes I like to inquire a lot about things because I am a very curious person, as you know. Be careful, son. Curiosity killed the cat. But satisfaction brought it back, Professor. The party ended and we went to sleep. We woke up the next day and went for a walk in a beautiful city of Prague. And by the way, reader, I have to tell you that the Czechs have, without a single shade of a doubt, the best beer in Europe. We went to see the St. Vitus Cathedral, the Charles Bridge, the astronomical clock, the Kingsky Palace, the Prague Castle, and the Old Town Square. And these were the wonders of the world to me. And we, of course, got to see the hidden parts of each and every location, parts that the public was not allowed to see, because of course, that's how things are supposed to be, in the opinion of the Freemasons. We then went back to the hotel, changed in our usual black suit, black tie attire, took our aprons and gloves, and we went outside the hotel about 9 p.m. to meet the driver who would take us to the church. And we got there around 11:30 p.m, and that left us with 30 minutes of free time in which a brother from the Czech Republic told us the story of the church. The St. George Church was built in 1352, but in 1968 the roof collapsed during a funeral. So, it was very much abandoned up until an artist decided to make things more interesting in 2014 by adding mouldings of people on top of which he placed some sheets to make them look like ghosts praying. And Brother Hynek went on, "Dear brothers, let's go inside. But before that, there is a table here at the entrance. Please, each and every one of you take one of these metal blocks and keep it with you until the meeting is finished. Welcome to the Church of Ghosts." The master, the professor, and I looked at each other wondering what these were for. We proceeded on taking the metals, which were weighing roughly 500 grams each, and they were, of course, triangle in shape. We went inside, and we were a little startled by the silhouette standing still in the darkness. And then our Czech brothers rapidly lighted some candles, and we got to sit down next to the figures. I was a bit uneasy because I don't really like being alone in a church at night, even more when the church is old and creepy and filled with mouldings that resemble people. The master of the Prague Lodge stated, "Dear brothers, welcome to one of the most exquisite meeting places for people like us. I hope you all had a great time at the party yesterday and got to see a beautiful capital city. Please place each of your metals into the lap of the moulding next to you and leave it there until we finish this meeting." And then, of course, we started having speeches. After half an hour or so after midnight, all the candles went out and a cold wind started to blow inside the church. The floor was creaking and a very thick fog started raising from under it. And then I felt something moving beside me. I turned to my right side and the head of a ghost was turned towards me, staring at me with its non-existent eyes. I screamed, "Ah!" And then a voice from out of time began. "Brothers, dear brothers, do not be afraid. We come in peace. We are the Freemasons of the Grand Lodge from beyond time. And we have been here for many eons, silently watching you to see if you are doing your jobs properly. And we could not be prouder than we are right now. Greetings to everyone who came from different parts of the world. We are very happy that you are with us tonight." And then another one stated, "Brothers, you will experience something tonight that you never experienced before. Please place your hands on our foreheads and let us take you to a journey of magic throughout time." The thing is that the voices were speaking in the Czech language, a language I know nothing about, but, curiously enough, I was understanding it perfectly at that certain place and time. I placed my hand on the ghost's forehead, and at that point I felt like I was enlightened and filled with a secret knowledge. And with my eyes closed, I could see through different historical periods. I was in a forest where strange animals were living. And then I was transported under the sea to populations of humanoids living free. Their technological advancements not like anything I have ever seen before. I have seen kings and queens, empires falling, kingdoms of long-forgotten dead gods, ruins of cities in the sky, strange civilizations visiting our planet. But then everything stopped, and a man with a white hood on his head, a large staff in his hand and a grey beard stood in front of me, in a tent in the desert.
"Hello, traveller. Give me your hand."
I did so, without even questioning him. Then he took out a very strange object. It was like a red-hot stone, almost like a coal, but not quite, and placed it in my hand. I squeezed it, and when I opened my hand, all that was left was a red light floating around in my palm. I looked at him with big inquiring eyes, and then he took out from the bag in his pocket a very odd powder. And then he placed the powder inside the red floating light, and with his scepter smashed it, yelling,
"Tria prima!"
And a large explosion took place. It knocked me over, but it did not hurt me. I awakened some minutes, well, at least for me, later in the church with my hand extended, and in my hand there was the metal block, but its colour had changed. It was golden. Of course, I could not believe my eyes. My mind was already buzzing with all that I had seen in my short journey. Brothers, vivat alchemia! This is a gift to you. Please be careful on your future journeys and take this gold home with you as a way to always remember your experience here tonight. So long, dear brothers. I checked my watch. It said 6:30 a.m. I looked at the gold triangle. On it was the representation of the exact same ball of light I held in my palm of my hand. The sun came up in the sky and everything was back to normal. We went back to Prague, none of us saying anything for the next few hours. We just sat there frozen and bewildered by the magical gold in our hands. Not only the wonders of the world, but the riches of the world. I'm a Freemason, and I have some stories to tell you. The Horror at Hoya Forest, Part 4. Let's get straight into that. I used to be one of those people who did not believe in the supernatural, monsters, demons, vampires, and all the things that should not be. However, for the past 6 years, I have been constantly proven wrong, and I was shown by forces beyond my reach and understanding that we are not alone. We were never alone, and we will never be alone. I have seen things that can churn your stomach, that can make your heart stop beating, or even question your existence. And this time, I will not tell you about one of my vacations that I will never forget, and that I wish I could take back. But as you may well know from the stories you have read so far, strange things seem to follow me since I have become a Freemason. No matter what happened, I always managed to stay lucid and keep my composure until the very end of these strange occurrences. For us Freemasons, summers are usually off, and we do not have any kind of official gatherings. However, we do meet like friends in the white meetings, as we call them. We just eat foods and drink wine like normal people. I have had many of those, some of them really pleasant, because you get to talk to some good people about great things. But there were also evil people there as well, and so it's kind of a battle with the forces of good and evil. Some of them want evil to reign supreme, and some just want to destroy every vile thing that the Freemasons stand for. Their temple of lies will fall one day, and their false god will burn in the purging fires of all that should protect us. Last summer, before this whole crazy pandemic happened, I also have a story on this as well, but it will come at a later stage. I do not want to scare you more than you are right now, reader. Well, we were invited by some Freemasons friends to spend a few days on a lovely property just a bit outside of the city of Cluj-Napoca in Romania. A very beautiful city indeed. Great food, great people, and you should visit if you have the chance. Most of us have regular 9-to-5 jobs, of course, and so we decided we should spend a weekend there. Booked a flight and we got there in about an hour on a Friday night. The property was filled with one-room, little houses, and so that all brothers could relax and rest good. We went in, we made ourselves comfortable, changed to a casual attire, and went outside to socialize. The property was placed in the heart of nature, far away from inquiring eyes. I was surrounded by a thick forest called the Hoya. Its trees were very oddly bent, like they had seen the horrors of the world, and behind it a river was rapidly streaming away into the silence of the night. I am a really big fan of barbecue, so it was my idea to not go to a restaurant in the city. Instead, we should have a nice barbecue done at the property by ourselves, because it would give us a better vibe given the whole rustic scenery. Everyone agreed, and we proceeded on lighting the thing up. Well, after a few hours or so, when we were almost ending our small party, we heard screaming voices echoing from the woods. Unaware of the dangers we will face later on, so me and 4 other brothers took our flashlights and decided to go and see where the screaming was coming from. I was scared to see what terrors the night will bring upon us, because the things we faced in the past were absolutely horrifying. As we delved deeper into the forest, after what seemed and felt like almost an eternity, not knowing what fate we will have, we were starting to get closer to the source of the screaming. As we were approaching, we started seeing the river, and on its edge there was a woman wearing a white dress that seemed to be made of clouds, almost vaporous. And then she turned. Her face, it was the whitest white I have ever seen. Her eyes were so dark that they could have looked straight into your soul, leaving you petrified as a statue. The most scariest part was that on her face was what appeared to be some sort of black blood dripping down from her eyes. She started coming at us hastily, and so we started running, but when we turned around, another 4 women were standing mid-air, floating and watching down upon us, almost like they were the hunter and we were the hunted. The creatures of the night needed to feed. I know some of the Eastern European legends, and so, given that we were in Romania, I remembered hearing stories of the so-called Iv'e, which were spirits of tormented women who only wanted to prey on men, making them go absolutely insane. The legend says that you must not speak to them or say their name, and so they started singing and dancing in circles around us. 2 brothers started crying in absolute fear, and the rest of us were just mesmerized by them. And then, like touched by grace, I snapped out of it and yelled, "Do not look at them and close your eyes!" Said and done, except for one of our brothers. His gaze could not turn away from the spirits, and then one came closer to him. "Would you come with us, handsome?" she said, slowly caressing his face. "Yes, I want to," he said, not even finishing his sentence. They raised him up into the air, and then he disappeared with them into the depths of the dark forest. "No!" I yelled. "Brothers, snap out of it! We have to go after him!" We started running like madmen, not knowing where we were going or what fate awaited us. We started searching, looking for houses in the forest, for lights, for a single trace of our brother. And before we knew it, morning had come. The first rays of sun shining shyly, almost afraid to enter the forest. After our searches came to no avail, we found our way back to the houses and decided to rest for a couple of hours before going back to the woods. We were severely dehydrated and frightened to our very bones. As we were approaching the property, the rest of our brothers were outside waiting. "Hey guys, we're back! You will not believe what happened to us!" we yelled collectively, almost running out of breath. And they all stepped aside, revealing our lost brother, sitting in a chair and with his head lowered, and his physical appearance was changed. His hair turned white, he looked like he had lost 20 pounds, and he was almost a vegetable. He could not speak, all he was doing was to mumble incoherently. We told them what happened, and they were in shock, but they also knew what horrors live with us in places where we, humans, should not go, and they completely understood the grave situation we were in. We all decided to stay for a few more days, and we called the ambulance, and we invented a story about how he had woke up like that because, well, we obviously could not say the real story. And then they took him to the local psychiatric hospital for tests, where he still resides confined to this very day. After a few days passed, the doctor called one of us, and the diagnostic was severe schizophrenia combined with dementia. The doctor told us that our brother always has hallucinations about 5 women that try to take him away from the hospital. Some other times he starts dancing by himself in a padded room. Brother, I am sorry we could not save you. Truly sorry. Wow. Absolutely awesome stuff there. Wonderful additive to the first two last night. Thank you ever so much to the author once again, PostMortem33, for allowing me to narrate this excellent series on the channel. Guys and girls, you know the drill. Please do let us know what you thought down below in the comments box. Please do like and share. It really does help with the channel and our community further. And why not hashtag Team Fear. Of course, if you have a story to share with us here on the show, please do get in contact with myself at the email, which is dmtforestoffear@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you. As always, guys, I hope you're holding down the fort, focusing on the positives, and are well and happy. And above all, remember, be safe, not sorry.